The hustle, busy movement and activity. You see, when I go through the dictionary and I look for the word hustle, I get definition for it. And that's how objects work. Use a key to search something in an object, and then you get back a value if that key exists. So let's look into the code and see how objects really work from behind the scenes. In the last video we went over arrays, and now we're going to be going over objects, and I want to show the difference between the two so you don't mix them up. Arrays work in sequence, so if we do an array with the square brackets and we put 1, 2, 3, 4, and to call them we'd have to go, for the first number we'd have to say 0, so we'd have to go array 0, and then that would give us 1. So anyways, that's an array. And an object, or also known as a dictionary, looks like this with squiggly brackets. And then instead of it being in sequence, you could just put, let's say we have a scream variable, and that's this. Then we do another one, we go quiet. Okay, we do that. So that's how an object works. And now if I console.log array 0 and run the file, so node objects, we get 1. Now if I console.log object 0, it says undefined. Now why does it say undefined? It says undefined because it's not like, it doesn't work like an array. Scream is not in position 1. Scream, the string is equal to scream, so it's like a variable almost. So if we wanted to get this string, we'd have to go in here and say the name of the variable, or in this case an object. It works as you have key equals value. So we go down here and we say scream. This is screen. And then we go like this. And it breaks. Why is that? Oh. So when we put it inside square brackets, we have to put quote marks around it, because we're not throwing a variable into there. We're trying to call the actual literal word scream inside of this object. If we did it that way, we would have to have like our scream out here and then call that into there. So we're not going to do that. So let's just keep it like this, run it, and then there we go. We get that. Now there's another way of doing it with objects, and I always say use the square brackets, but some people like to use the dot notation. That works too. So back to square brackets. If we wanted the quiet variable, we could do that. And then we get it like that. So you see, with objects, you can set it up similar to a dictionary. So if we have the definition for quiet, let's say, and then we had a definition for loud, and we said not quiet. Now we can go and it can be like, oh, okay, I need the word quiet in the dictionary. Boom, you called it, and then it says not loud. So let's actually get rid of this. And then here we can go and say definition of quiet is not loud. So that's how you work with objects. Now, the cool thing about objects and arrays is you can put them inside each other. So you can actually get really complicated with it and go, let's say we had object, and inside of object we had array, right? And then we put that variable there. So now this links to this. Go and we can console.log array, or actually console.log object. You could do object.array in this case. It's a lot faster. And we get the array. So now this is pretty much being put inside right here, and that's being linked there. Now let's do the opposite. Let's say we have one and two. So let's take that and let's throw it right here. So get their object and let's say 3. Now if I get rid of this, we get undefined. Now why? That's probably because of that. There we go. So we have now an object inside of an array. And if we put multiple objects, like if we did this, so now we have 2 of them, let's say. Just show you in the console quickly. We can go and call object, let's say 0, and then we could do dot 1. Or in this case, you want to keep it consistent with the brackets. You don't want to go back and forth in between the two. So 1. And now we get the number 1. So that's how objects work. We're going to be using these a lot when we're going to go into object-oriented programming. And the last thing I got coming is tomorrow, the functions and loop videos before I start going into more complicated programming topics. I hope you guys enjoyed the B-roll. I had a lot of fun making it. I'm out for this video. See you in the next one.